Good morning once again. It's time to Let's Talk Antiques. And we've got some real gentlemen here to talk to me. I'm the only antique on the board.
I don't know about that.
Well, legally, though, you're not
100
even,
years old.
you got to be
You gotta be
100 years
100.
old.
Oh,
So,
100 years?
Yeah, so
I'm in good shape
You're
then.
just vintage.
yeah, you're just vintage.
Vintage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not an
All
antique,
right.
you're just in the
I got
vintage.
something to look forward
You're
to.
in the vintage category.
Yeah, what about that?
All right, so I guess instead of, we don't have a bunch of stuff to discuss, so we're going to, Ronnie, you got the program, the agenda set up here, and first thing we're going to talk about is Custer's horse.
Yeah, George Armstrong Custer's horse, which everybody should know or might know that his name was Comanche. And for a generation who are themselves now dead, he was the most famous horse in America. He was a kind of Elvis of the horse world. He was revered in death as much as he was in life. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they had Comanche sightings back then. I thought about that.
I'm a little curious here, Ronnie. Okay, so George Custer gets killed by Indians. Mm-hmm. But he named his horse Comanche?
Yeah,
What's going on with that?
I don't
Strange romance, wasn't it?
What's going on there, Ronnie?
I don't ask me. That's over my head.
Is that above your pay scale?
Right over my pay grade. Yeah. Okay, Comanche was the only living thing that the U.S. Cavalry got back from the Battle of Little Bighorn. When the reinforcements arrived, Custer and all 200 of his soldiers, they were dead. And all the horses that had survived, they'd been taken by the Indians, except Comanche. And now Comanche was injured, and the Indians, they didn't want a horse that couldn't dodge bullets. Yeah. That's over my head, too.
It went over our head, too, didn't it?
Yeah, but the white man did. So Comanche, he was nursed back to health, and he became a living symbol of manifest destiny, which is, from sea to sea.
Yeah.
Okay, the public loved him, assuming that he had been Custer's horse, which he hadn't.
He wasn't Custer's horse?
This says he wasn't, and that he was the battle's only survivor, which he wasn't. This was fine with the Army and the federal government, who wanted the public on their side while they killed the Indians. So Comanche toured the country, and he was in, parades and public gatherings and things like that. So why, when he died, did he end up in the University of Kansas Natural History Museum? Well, Comanche had been stabled at Fort Riley, which was nearby there. When he passed away in 1890, it was assumed that he'd be preserved. And by a stroke of good fortune, the best taxidermist in Kansas, he worked at the museum, of course, preserving natural history. So Comanche's remains, they were buried with honors, and his hide was given to the museum and stuffed. But the officers from Fort Riley, who realized that most Indians were by now either captured or dead, they never bothered to pick him up or to pay the taxidermist's bill. So Comanche ended up, staying with the museum because
And it still is there?
And he's still there. He's in a big glass case.
Still got the saddle and
He's still saddled up and got his
blanket
blanket on him.
now.
I looked up why he's named Comanche.
Okay, let's
Okay,
hear
here
it.
we go.
Captain Miles Keogh,
Yeah.
of the 7th Cavalry. He was the one who he had bought the horse for the U.S. Army, and in one of his first battles, he got shot in the hindquarters by a Comanche arrow, and they healed him, or he got better, and so the guy named him Comanche in
The
honor.
soldier got shot or the horse?
The horse got shot.
Okay.
The horse could not only dodge bullets, he couldn't dodge
He
arrows.
couldn't dodge arrows.
I started to mention that a while ago.
So the Battle of Little Bighorn was in 1876, and so he died in 1890. So he lived 14 years afterwards, then, didn't he? So I wonder how old a horse he was. Did it
I
say?
think about 29.
He was
29.
21-year veteran, is what it says.
The horse was.
Yeah.
So he must have been a young horse when he got him.
story I was reading earlier, they just guessed him
Well-
about 29.
So, Comanche stuffed, Trigger stuffed. Gene Archer buried his horse. He wasn't going to spend the money on it.
Oh, well, I understand.
Neither did Hopalong Cassidy
Now,
or
what
the
was Gene
Long
Archer's
Ranger.
horse name? Do you know?
Champion.
Okay,
Yeah.
Champ.
And then you had Champion Jr.
I knew Trigger.
and Trigger Jr. So there ain't a whole lot of horses that I guess, out of all the old Western stars,
Very famous, a real famous horse.
yeah, all their horses were famous, but only one of them, it sounded like Trigger and Trigger Jr. and Buttermilk, which was Dale Evans' horse.
Oh, okay.
They stuffed them, and Bullet, the German Shepherd dog.
I wonder if they do the Tennessee Walking Horse Champion things. If they do those or not.
Do they?
I don't know. I just.
Well, the very
worth a lot
first
of money.
champion, isn't he buried over at War Trace at that hotel?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Ain't that right?
The
Yeah,
very
I believe
first
so.
Well,
walking
you ought
horse
to know because
champion.
you do all that
I've done
walking
that.
horse stuff.
We've done a bunch of walking horse stuff over
Yeah.
there.
Do you say walk on a lot?
No.
Okay.
Do you know the horse's name?
If you asked me off air, I would have remembered
Okay,
it.
I'll
No, I
wait till we
can't
get off
think.
there and then I'll ask it.
Can't think of
We'll
it.
bring it back up later.
Okay.
So since we're talking about Comanche, might as well talk about George Custer. So we've looked up some stuff on both the active and the sold stuff. So you got the sold side of it. Go for it.
Okay, so if you happen to have an Andy Warhol General Custer painting, it went for $30,000 with 5 bids
And Sotheby's.
at Sotheby's auction house. And the next highest thing was a month ago. General George Armstrong Custer autographed cabinet photo.
Wow.
So that's I'm sure that's pretty rare. $17,000 with 1 bid.
And you can pick it up free. They ain't gonna charge you. Come get it. Now, what about that?
That's
Pick
pretty
up
nice.
That's a deal in it.
And another one has an autographed letter signed, $6,000 with 1 bid. George Custer signs photo soon before the last stand, $6,000 with 3 bids. Custer's, how do you pronounce that? Epaulets. $5,000.
So that's basically the
off his,
the things that go on his uniform.
Stars.
on his uniform shoulders. Yeah.
Oh, stars and bars, Ronnie.
Oh,
that was-
stars and bars.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
what was he? A 2-star, 2-bar?
1-star general.
1-star general. But that looks like.
Or at least they've only got 1 star, but they've got 2 leafs on
Yeah,
his
that was
epaulets.
confusing me.
I don't know.
And 2 bars.
Oh, true. Lot of 10 George Custer envelopes signed. They were asking $7,500, and they took best offer. So those don't have the letters, just the envelopes where he was addressing envelopes. General Custer family military pins. $2,600 with 39 bids on that one.
A lot of interest in that one.
Yeah. 1876 original standing photograph of Custer, framed nicely, $2,500 with 15 bids. And then there's that's
CDV, it's just a type of photography.
Okay, so original CDV of General Custer. It does not say it's signed with $1,008 with 37 bids. And photography 1862 is pretty rare, so.
Yeah.
Well, if that's 1862, that was during the Civil War. He was in the Civil War too.
1862 original photograph of 2nd Lieutenant Custer with Lieutenant Washington and Confederate slave. $997 with 19 bids.
Free shipping.
There you go. General Custer.
How much it cost to mail a card?
What is it?
50 cents?
I don't know. I think it's like 12 cents for a
Really?
postcard stamp. Yeah. But you might not put a postcard stamp and mail it though. Yeah.
I wouldn't.
No. $859 for a Custer handwritten envelope with a letter that went with it, $859. No, actually, that letter that's beside of it is a letter of authenticity.
Yeah, just for the envelope.
Yeah, for the envelope. That had 2 bids at $859.
Well, so the others averaged about $750. So selling one by itself made an extra $100.
It did. Well, it was the only one with a letter of authenticity. Another George Custer CDV image, $795. So just the photo, that's not bad.
What's that arrow?
The arrow is Custer County, Nebraska. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't think it has to do with him. And then you have Custer's Last Stand play set box. Marks 1963. Good condition, $727 with 24 bids. Now, that's something I expect you more
lot
likely
of
to bid
bids
on
on
than
that.
the
yeah,
others.
I never did collect. Now, there's a gentleman I know that's got just about, I guess he does have every play set. Mark's made a lot of different play sets. You know, Wagon Train, just Roy Rogers, you know, all of them, Gene Autry. But I never did collect that, play sets.
Here's the a 15-figure Mark's Custer's Last Stand reverse Confederates, and these are just the figures without the box. $535 with 31 bids. That's pretty decent.
Did you see the Indian's name that shot Custer? Rain in the face.
Rain in the Face Sioux Indian that shot General Custer. Original photo. $535. I didn't even notice that. 19 bids.
What's that? There's another Indian photo right there, isn't it? Is it, what's that?
That's that.
Second one, that one. What is that one?
Lionstone Custer's Last Stand.
Decanter
It's a
set.
4-piece decanter set. $488. Wow.
A lot of money for
That's
a
kind
decanter
of,
set.
yeah, it's a lot of money for a decanter set.
There's another Indian picture.
1890s Sitting Bull Sioux Chief cabinet card. He was the Indian in command at Custer's Last Stand. It went for $504.99 with 23 bids.
Well, now he must have had 2 or 3 different tribes that were working together
Yeah.
to defeat him. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Custer's Little Bighorn battlefield photograph, 1886. Went for $465.
That's several years though after the battle, wasn't it?
Yeah. And another Mark's Custer's Last Stand partial play set with no box, $455. 3 bids just for a partial set. Man.
And no box.
There's you one.
There's a vintage Mark's Battle Little Bighorn play set, huge lot. Custer's Last Stand 1960s, no box, $445. So that was worth less than the one that just had a couple of pieces. It's just timing.
Yeah.
You know, that makes.
Well, what's that? There's a song that says timing's everything.
There you go. And here's another
And
one
it
of
is.
Custer's Last Stand. All it is a covered wagon from the playset. Marks in excellent condition for $441.
Must be hard to find a covered wagon side of it.
Must be. Yeah. Well,
I don't even see the wagon in that.
I
one.
say that in that big lot, I don't think I see a covered wagon.
Guess that's
Oh,
why
what's
it's
that
not
picture
worth
of
as
right
much.
there? Right there.
Oh, Custer's Little Bighorn skirmish line photograph, $425. 7th U.S. Cavalry at Custer Battlefield site. I don't think it's an actual battle photo, but it's the cavalry at the battlefield site. But still, $425.
You know, it's for an old photo.
1886. Any photo from then is going to be rare. And I guess
Oh,
events.
Now I've had that right there that you're fixing to read off. I had that one time. Give it to Nick Langford.
Custer's Last Fight Anheuser-Busch poster.
Yeah, they actually made a poster.
$425 with 8 bids
Yeah.
for a Anheuser-Busch poster.
Yeah.
Nice looking poster.
That is.
Tell you what,
one is.
let's take a break. When we come back, you can go to active side and see what the highest priced active listing is.
Okay.
All right, stay tuned for more Let's Talk Antiques on The Link and Thunder Radio.
Do
you need a part for your car that the dealer just wants too much money for? Well, bring your toolbox and pull the part yourself for huge savings at the CFC Auto Salvage Pick and Pull on Highway 55 between Tullahoma and Manchester. No walking through waist-high weeds here. All of our vehicles are located in our graveled parking lot, up on blocks with room to work. We stock hundreds of cars and trucks, foreign and domestic, new and old, with new vehicles added weekly. You can even search our entire vehicle inventory online. And if your old vehicle gives up the ghost, bring it by. We offer top dollar for your salvage vehicle. Open to the public 7 days a week until dark, so there's plenty of time to come by. That's CFC Auto Salvage Pick and Pull.
Madeline's Antiques and Uniques at 6107 Murfreesboro Road in Manchester has been helping collectors find just the right thing since 2008. With 40 quality dealers and a constantly changing inventory of collectibles from the 1800s to the present, they have many unique items in the store and new things coming in daily. Are you looking for the perfect lamp or clock to finish your collection? A vintage lunchbox from your childhood? Well, you can find that plus any number of other unique items in their huge building. With their easy access off I-24, they meet many travelers from around the world and just around the corner that come to buy and sell antiques, or just to stop and have a free cup of coffee and a cookie while browsing around the store. Come visit owner Madeline Kemp and travel back in time at Madeline's Antiques and Uniques. So many memories.
My name's John Hirschman. I'm one of the original 6 owners of P&H Rentals. Started the company 30 years ago when we saw a need for individual, construction, industrial, and commercial storage. We have trailers and containers for lease and sell. Our physical location is 2947 Old Manchester Highway, Tullahoma, Tennessee. My phone number is area code 931-273-4252.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
We would like to thank Dr. David Florence for supporting Let's Talk Antiques. See Dr. Florence at 804 Kalon Street in Manchester for all of your medical needs. Call 728-5522 for your appointment today. Most insurances accepted.
Philip, you got some active auctions for us here?
Okay, so $30,000 was the Andy Warhol highest sold auction. We've got somebody asking $99,000 for a George Armstrong Custer autographed letter signed.
What's the contents?
The contents of the letter is he is endorsing a saber shield, and he's writing the company or the guy who developed it and saying how he really likes his saber shield and is endorsing the U.S. Cavalry to or encouraging the U.S. Cavalry to purchase them and use them. And that was in April 6th, 1864.
That's during the Civil War.
Yeah. And so there are 19 people watching that bid. We also have an original Andy Warhol George Custer painting, like we sold for $30,000. Somebody's asking $65,000 for theirs.
Best offer.
Yeah,
Or
for
best
the
offer.
screen print.
Let's see, Custer's Civil War dated autographed letter signed. They're asking $20,000, their best offer. 25 Custer envelopes signed. They're asking $18,750, which I don't think they're going to get compared to what we looked.
We already seen
Yeah,
some of them.
We saw some of those.
Where they were
a while
going
ago.
for, what's that?
$750 a piece.
Yeah. General Custer Civil War 1863 salt print. In Washington, D.C., they're asking $10,500. Custer's Last Stand letter, Marcos Reno. So this is somebody else wrote about it, asking $10,000. General Armstrong Custer's certified signed check PSA DNA certified. They're asking $7,835.
Or best offer.
Or best offer. It's a nice frame and certification.
Yes. At PSA, you don't get much better.
10 Custer envelopes, each signed General Custer, $7,500.
I wonder why there's so many of those envelopes.
I don't know. And these look like they've just torn off the part that had where he addressed them. Mm-hmm. So it's not even the entire
Why
envelope.
would he? I mean, there's not, just judging what we've seen already and plus what's sold. There's a lot of those envelopes.
Yeah.
Maybe people want to keep the letters and they figure they can part with the envelope. You think?
Well,
Yeah, but why would there so many of them?
I don't think normal military communications would have been even sent in envelopes, so I don't know where they come up with all those.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, you couldn't call anybody back then.
Oh,
so.
you could.
So
There was a telegraph them.
yeah, well, true. It's going to find. Well, that's most of what I see.
Well,
I mean, there's a whole lot of
What is this right here?
people asking stuff. Autographed endorsement signed 3 weeks before Yellow Tavern. Chrome edition Custer silver fountain pen. Asking $4,764.
Yeah, but it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it is awesome.
Ain't that what they say in the
Some
description?
bronze sculptures, limited editions. And these aren't. Here's a Custer autographed note signed, original photo, and original Harper's Weekly, PSA DNA certified, $4,169. Or best off. Oh no, it's a buy it now. 7th Cavalry related 1877 letter by Libby Custer on about General George Yates at Little Bighorn. $3,500 they're asking for that.
Is that another check there?
General Custer war date signature. I think it's a receipt that he's signed. $3,200 is their buy it now price. They were asking $4,000 and didn't sell, so they've dropped it to $32,000. 1933 Western Cowboys, Indian Soldiers, Geronimo, Custer, Crockett complete set. $3,200. Another limited edition fountain pen for $3,000, Custer. 3.5-inch envelope to address to wife, Mrs. General Custer, from George Custer. PSA DNA slabbed, asking $2,500 or best offer. George Custer full signature signed clean envelope, asking $2,250 or best offer. And another one asking $2,250. Another signed autographed envelope, asking $2,000 with PSA certification. Another envelope with PSA certification.
See, that's what I'm talking about. There's a lot of envelopes.
Yeah.
A lot of them. He must have
Asking
wrote a lot.
$1,950.
When did he find time?
Another one for $2,000. Maybe somebody sold one and it went for really high, and so all these people have been holding on to them or putting them up for sale right now too. Okay.
Well, we're getting down now to just the $1,500 stuff.
Yeah. Well, do you want to go on to our next one then?
Yeah, I think we ought to.
I think we've pretty much exhausted that one.
Well, we've just showed our audience, both television and radio side of it, that there is some big interest in George Custer.
Even today.
Definitely.
Okay. So we're going to go to, we've got an 1886 Winchester rifle. It broke the world record for the most expensive single gun ever auctioned. And it was auctioned by Rock Island Auction Company. It's got a walnut stock and a simple inscription. And the inscription just reads, Albie to Lawton. But it is the firearm ever sold, which we did say, and they repeated that. Other guns have sold higher as a pair, but no other single firearm surpasses this new world record. It was an honor to be entrusted with the American treasure, said Kevin Hogan, president of the Illinois-based company. Okay, the rifle itself was a gift from one Congressional Medal of Honor award winner to another. U.S. Army Captain Henry Ware Lawton and Lieutenant George E. Albee had been brothers in arms during the Civil War. Okay, the former continued his military career and saw combat in the Indian Wars, the Spanish-American War, and the Philippine-American War. The latter went to work as a designer for the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. Okay, after Lawton led the expedition which resulted in the capture and surrender of Geronimo, who was the Apache leader, in 1886, his old friend was inspired to find a suitable recognition for the deed. His choice was this Winchester model 1886 sporting rifle, the serial number 1, which made it
How much that bring?
$1,265,000.
Wow. But that's the very first, right?
It was
Number one.
It's the 1886 model.
Number
and,
one model of it.
Number 1, serial number, and given from one Medal of Honor award winner to another one. That's what makes it really unique, I think. Okay, we talked about that.
So, eBay don't sell no rifles and guns and that type of stuff. You actually have to go to a gun site.
Yeah.
But we did some Winchester, just typed in Winchester rifles, and you got some completed auctions on some advertisement and stuff.
I do. Well, we've got the highest selling item was a stock, a Winchester pre-64 Model 70 Super Grade Monte Carlo stock, which went for $1,075 with 19 bids. Next up is antique Winchester 1888 reloading tool for $1,026 with 15 bids. There's another couple of stocks that pre-64 that Model 70 Super Grade that will go for about $866 each with quite a bit of bids. We have a couple of barrels, a Blazer R8 rifle barrel and magazine with 3 rounds. Can they sell shells on eBay? I didn't think. For $781, maybe they're not active.
Maybe just the magazine.
Yeah. Blazer R3 rifle barrel and magazine. Oh, it's a 3-round magazine. For $775 with 5 bids. And then we have an original 1896 Winchester Repeating Arms Company rifle shotgun calendar. And it went as a best offer somewhere between $775 and $700. So that's a pretty good investment for a calendar, over $700.
Hard to find a 120-year-old calendar still.
Original antique Winchester model 1892 sporting rifle crate, circa 1900.
And held several rifles.
Yes, $700 with 39 bids for a crate.
For a wooden crate.
Yeah, it's a nice crate.
I think I could frame them up for that.
Another pre-64 Model 70 Monte Carlo stock for $666 with 19 bids. A lot of 46 gun rifle stocks, various lot, $650. Winchester rifle, vintage rifle scope, $610 with 12 bids. A vintage Lyman 103 windage Tang sight, Winchester 1894, $610 with 19 bids. Yeah.
That thing is really it's very small, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't look that small. I don't know. Here's another sight, a Lyman Tang peep sight for Winchester 1886. It went for $810 with 17 bids. Winchester Model 70 Pre-64 Super Grade floor plate and follower, $610. Man, so
A lot of stocks.
a lot of stocks,
A lot of parts.
little parts and stuff.
Let's see what we got active here.
Okay.
Okay, here's an advertisement. It's in the 40s, and it's a Buffalo Bill Cody with the Winchester. One side says Buffalo Bill Cody, other side says Winchester, and it's an Indian. They want $2,900 for it, or best offer. These are all active that I'm reading to you now. Here's a Winchester rifle, 1917 multicolored advertisement. It's just an envelope with Winchester on it, with it looks like a couple of hunters. With that envelope, they're asking $1,800 or best offer. Here's some shooting posters, $1,600 or best offer. Let's see, the first edition. Here's a rare Winchester book, first edition, The Rifleman's Rifle, 1982. They want $900 for that. 1982.
That's not all that old.
Here's another envelope with a hunter on it, Winchester, and it says rifles and shotguns on it. Advertisement. They want $900 for that envelope. Another envelope they want $850, $799, $750. So, boy, they ask a lot of money just for an envelope. Here's one they want $700 for it. A lot of envelopes on there for sale. Okay, here's another cardboard sign. It's got an Indian on it, and it says "Heap Big Savings," talking about Winchester. No, this here actually, yeah, sporting rifle. $529.
What year did that say?
1967.
1967.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh. And it's a cigar store Indian, if you know. Most people know that they actually had those Indians.
Poor old Elijah.
I wanted to make sure I heard him right.
All right, with that, we're going to have to take another break. I tell you what, you have sat here and talked 30 minutes away already.
It's already gone, ain't it?
You shrank.
Yeah.
There's more fun on the way. Please stay tuned to Let's Talk Antiques on The Link and Thunder Radio.
Do you need a part for your car that the dealer just wants too much money for? Well, bring your toolbox and pull the part yourself for huge savings at the CFC Auto Salvage Pick and Pull on Highway 55 between Tullahoma and Manchester. No walking through waist-high weeds here. All of our vehicles are located in our graveled parking lot, up on blocks with room to work. We stock hundreds of cars and trucks, foreign and domestic, new and old, with new vehicles added weekly. You can even search our entire vehicle inventory online. And if your old vehicle gives up the ghost, bring it by. We offer top dollar for your salvage vehicle. Open to the public 7 days a week until dark, so there's plenty of time to come by. That's CFC Auto Salvage Pick and Pull.
Madeline's Antiques and Uniques at 6107 Murfreesboro Road in Manchester has been helping collectors find just the right thing since 2008. With 40 quality dealers and a constantly changing inventory of collectibles from the 1800s to the present, they have many unique items in the store and new things coming in daily. Are you looking for the perfect lamp or clock to finish your collection? A vintage lunchbox from your childhood? Well, you can find that plus any number of other unique items in their huge building. With their easy access off I-24, they meet many travelers from around the world and just around the corner that come to buy and sell antiques, or just to stop and have a free cup of coffee and a cookie while browsing around the store. Come visit owner Madeline Kemp and travel back in time at Madeline's Antiques and Uniques. So many memories.
My name's John Hirschman. I'm one of the original 6 owners of P&H Rentals. Started the company 30 years ago when we saw a need for individual, construction, industrial, and commercial storage. We have trailers and containers for lease and sell. Our physical location is 2947 Old Manchester Highway, Tullahoma, Tennessee. My phone number is area code 931-273-4252.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
We would like to thank Dr. David Florence for supporting Let's Talk Antiques. See Dr. Florence at 804 Kalon Street in Manchester for all of your medical needs. Call 728-5522 for your appointment today. Most insurances accepted.
50 to 100, 50,000 and 100,000 respectively. So 50,000 is
You know why he had that rocking chair, right? You know why he had to use it? He actually had back trouble, and he got it in World War II.
I thought you was going to say so Marilyn could sit in his lap.
Well, I'm sure she did sit in his. I'm sure she
I
did.
apologize for that thought.
Was he a pilot?
You know, he was in the. Wasn't he in the Navy? And
Navy
the
pilot?
PT 109 wasn't that the?
PT 109.
Okay.
Yeah. You just tested me, right, Ronnie?
No, I was asking.
Oh, okay.
That was a question.
Okay.
Next month, the watch worn by the doctor who signed Kennedy's death certificate is going up for auction, and it could sell for $150,000 or more. Okay, these items are among the Kennedy-related memorabilia at the auction this year. Buyers eager to own a piece of history, they've snatched up everything from Kennedy's Air Force One leather bomber jacket, sold for $570,000,
Golly.
to a set of presidential golf balls. Now, they brought $30,710 for golf balls. I had to scratch my head on that one. Presidential golf balls.
Well, you know, I do have some, and I have some presidential matches from different presidents. So evidently, once you become president, I guess they assume you're going to be a golfer.
Yeah.
You know, I took golfing, but I only took it. I live right in front of the golf course, you know, the driving range, for years. But I only took golf up for credit in college. You know, I took that, badminton, and, you know.
Yeah, you can win a
flag
scholarship
football.
on that now.
You can?
As
Yes, sir,
athletics.
My
Bowling, I took that.
my stepbrother, who's a part of the
No, did
Earls
you
of
take it
Leicester,
there? I took all them big sports.
he teaches golf.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Warren that played the football.
Well, you know, golfing is really dropping back. I mean, they've lost several million people in the last 10 years have stopped playing golf. I don't know if it's the cost. I don't know if the younger generation is not. Well,
Not energetic enough to get
well,
from one
but
hole
when
to
Mr.
the other.
Driver gets this golf course out here going again, this 9-hole out at Country Club, it might pick it up around
So
here.
not as many golf scholarships
I don't know.
as there used to be?
Well, anyway, as soon as Mr. Driver gets this golf course back out here at Country Club going,
Yeah.
it'll pick up some.
I bet.
Because he's real reasonable anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, and the pen he used to sign the 1961 Peace Corps Act brought $17,400, and one of his cigars, $900
For a cigar?
for a cigar.
Wow.
Yep.
I guess you could do DNA on that, make sure that
I
he
was going to
handled
say
it.
I could make a comment on that.
I'm wondering if it was Havana.
I've been one of Bill.
Look now, cars on the morning of November the 22nd, 1963, in the ballroom of the Hotel Texas in Fort Worth, Kennedy gave what would be his last speech. Okay, afterward, he and his wife Jackie, along with the Texas Governor John Connally, they rode in a white 1963 Lincoln Continental convertible through the streets of Fort Worth to Carswell Air Force Base, where they boarded Air Force One for the short flight to Dallas. In October, the Lincoln Continental sold at auction for $318,000. The buyer was Jim Warlick, a North Carolina native and major collector of Kennedy memorabilia. He also paid $210,000 for another auction item, which was a black 1960 Mark VI Lincoln Continental limo that was at the president's disposal for non-White House business. I wonder,
How much that bring?
just said that he, $210,000 for that one. I wonder what non-White House.
Well, that means, you know, private stuff that he wants to go to.
Grocery stores and stuff.
Yeah.
what-
There you go. A
shopping.
grocery store car.
You wouldn't think the president would have much of a private life. Okay. Neither car was the one Kennedy was riding in when he was shot in Dallas. That vehicle is a 1961 Lincoln Continental convertible, was leased to the Secret Service for $500 annually by Ford Motor Company. It was impounded after the assassination. In 1964, the car, codenamed the X100 by the Secret Service. I didn't know that the car had a code name. It underwent a major overhaul, and they spent about $500,000 on it. And it was used periodically by President Lyndon Johnson, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, and Jimmy Carter before it was taken out of service in '77. And now it's on display at the Henry Ford Museum in Michigan. Okay, now they had clothing. His Kennedy's Air Force One leather bomber jacket sold at auction to an anonymous bidder for $570,000, and it had had a $20,000 to $40,000 is what they
So they
expected to get out of it.
kind of underestimated
I
that.
can't believe you paid that much for that.
Yeah.
Don't tell Nancy.
Listen, if I'm gonna buy something, spend $500,000, it's gonna be a bunch of gas pumps or Coke machines,
Yeah, not a leather
and a
jacket.
bunch of them.
Okay, now sometime in 1962 or 1963, JFK gave the size 44 jacket featuring the presidential seal on the front to Dave Powers, his close friend and aide. Okay, Powers, who met Kennedy in 1946, worked on his political campaign and served as a special assistant to him in the White House. He was in the Dallas motorcade when Kennedy was killed. Okay, he died in 1998 at the age of 85. Years later, when his family was preparing to sell their house in Arlington, Massachusetts, that's when they discovered the bomber jacket along with some other memorabilia, and they decided to put that up for auction. Excuse me. Some of JFK's accessories and grooming items also have been on the auction block, including a black necktie he owned that went for $8,710, a monogrammed shaving kit that belonged to him, brought another $27,600, an 18-karat gold ring given to the president by his wife in 1963, and it was engraved on the inside of it, JBK to JFK. It brought $90,000. Not up for sale are the clothes that was worn by the president and their wife at the time of the assassination. Now, those items are preserved at the National Archives facility in College Park. While the president's clothing can be viewed for research purposes, according to rules established by the Kennedy family, the First Lady's bloodstained pink suit can't be seen in the public until 2103.
All right, with that, let's take a break.
Do you need a part for your car that the dealer just wants too much money for? Well, bring your toolbox and pull the part yourself for huge savings at the CFC Auto Salvage Pick and Pull on Highway 55 between Tullahoma and Manchester. No walking through waist-high weeds here. All of our vehicles are located in our graveled parking lot, up on blocks with room to work. We stock hundreds of cars and trucks, foreign and domestic, new and old, with new vehicles added weekly. You can even search our entire vehicle inventory online. And if your old vehicle gives up the ghost, bring it by. We offer top dollar for your salvage vehicle. Open to the public 7 days a week until dark, so there's plenty of time to come by. That's CFC Auto Salvage Pick and Pull.
Madeline's Antiques and Uniques at 6107 Murfreesboro Road in Manchester has been helping collectors find just the right thing since 2008. With 40 quality dealers and a constantly changing inventory of collectibles from the 1800s to the present, they have many unique items in the store and new things coming in daily. Are you looking for the perfect lamp or clock to finish your collection? A vintage lunchbox from your childhood? Well, you can find that plus any number of other unique items in their huge building. With their easy access off I-24, they meet many travelers from around the world and just around the corner that come to buy and sell antiques, or just to stop and have a free cup of coffee and a cookie while browsing around the store. Come visit owner Madeline Kemp and travel back in time at Madeline's Antiques and Uniques. So many memories.
My name's John Hirschman. I'm one of the original 6 owners of P&H Rentals. Started the company 30 years ago when we saw a need for individual, construction, industrial, and commercial storage. We have trailers and containers for lease and sell. Our physical location is 2947 Old Manchester Highway, Tullahoma, Tennessee. My phone number is area code 931-273-4252.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
We would like to thank Dr. David Florence for supporting Let's Talk Antiques. See Dr. Florence at 804 Kalon Street in Manchester for all of your medical needs. Call 728-5522 for your appointment today. Most insurances accepted.
Hey, on the break, we was talking about those limos and stuff. So our producer here, who is also is part of the show too, you moved yourself
The
right on up.
expertise, the expertise of the group.
Yeah. But now what we did, we was talking about what kind of cars the president's people that guard him and stuff. And then we got into one of the limos that the president drives. And what's it say? 10 things you don't know about the limo or something?
Or 10 things to know about it.
All right.
Know about
They
it.
said
Now this is really read that part about how many parts it's made from.
it's called the Beast, and they said it's not a Cadillac.
But it looks like a Cadillac limo, don't it?
It's got a
It
Cadillac
does to me.
logo on the front. It's
Okay,
got
go ahead.
on the grill. It says, unlike any presidential state car before it, the Beast shares little in common with a standard car. Its chassis, diesel engine, and transmission are based on those used in a Chevrolet Kodiak, a rugged commercial vehicle used as everything from a dump truck to a U-Haul truck. It uses standard trim pieces like headlamps from an Escalade and tail lights from the now discontinued STS truck keep it looking vaguely like a Cadillac. It's got its own airplane to fly it around in so that it's wherever the president travels. Calling it armored is an understatement. It says its armor plating is said to be 8 inches thick, and its doors weigh as much as those used on a Boeing 757 aircraft. 5-inch thick bulletproof windows. Let's see, nearly bus-sized Goodyear tires or Kevlar reinforced run flats.
This is describing the car that he
Yeah.
got killed in.
No,
This
No,
is
this is
today's
President
president's
Obama's.
car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, or any president,
Yeah.
it could be.
The-
It could have been Bush's.
Yeah.
Sounds like
The
Johnny
in-
Cash's car. You got one piece at a time.
Yeah.
The interior is sealed off from the outside world to reduce the risk of chemical attacks, while a special foam surrounds the fuel tank to insulate it in the event of an impact. The trunk is said that if you pop it open, you'll find everything from firefighting equipment and oxygen tanks to a cache of the president's blood type, tear gas containers, shotguns, grenade launchers.
Wow.
It holds 7 passengers. Let's see. It's not alone. There's a few vehicles like it, although it's not known whether they're all functionally identical. Some look more like a Cadillac DTS than the official limo. It runs on diesel. Duramax diesel engine, closely related to those under the hood of Chevy and GMC's full-size pickup trucks. One reason why it's diesel is because it reduces the risk of exploding. its pilot is a heck of a driver. Common for the Beast has more in common with a school bus and a sports car, with highly trained drivers that can execute tight J-turns and other police-style evasion techniques, and that it takes over 15 seconds to reach 60 miles an hour.
Golly. That's because it's a heavy, right?
Yep.
It's got to be heavy.
What's that, 8 miles per gallon?
8 miles per gallon. And in a politically motivated move, President Obama chose to have DC's taxation without representation license plates installed on the Beast. Demonstrates the president's commitment to a principle of full representation, because the District of Columbia doesn't. Yeah. So, okay.
That is really
There you go.
interesting about that little money. All right. One other Kennedy-related clothing note. Then we'll move on to something else.
Well, no,
Kennedy-related.
we might as well stay on it because I only got 5 minutes.
Well, I've got some.
We got some more Kennedy
I've
stuff.
got some more Kennedy-related
Well,
things. Just
rock on.
clothing. Okay. And we were talking about it a little earlier.
Reckon President Trump will keep all that?
Yeah, he will.
In 1999, the
He's got his own
one-of-a-kind
already.
rhinestone-encrusted gown that Marilyn Monroe wore when she sang Happy Birthday to JFK in 1962 in New York for his 45th birthday. It sold at auction for $1,267,500.
Now, you hearing all these prices and stuff. I mean, that's why this show has lasted, let's go on 99, so 17 years, because people are interested in knowing the value of stuff. And it seems like there's a lot of value in a lot of different items.
Yes.
You know? I mean,
What makes it so sad, though, is to think about all the things I threw in the garbage.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be a multimillionaire
I
today.
promise you would be.
Yeah.
Just from the rock and roll stuff that you had.
Oh, my goodness.
Lord,
Yeah.
All those
I had
tour
the last-
jackets.
I had the last itinerary that Michael Jackson, it was a Jackson 5 then.
Uh-huh.
I had Cheap Trick, Atlanta Rhythm Section. I can name it on and on.
Yeah, and you had tour jackets and all kind of
Yes,
stuff.
I had a Cheap Trick tour jacket.
He could have just
Original.
walked in there and cleaned out the bus before he went home. And
Why,
was out
they
on time.
probably
Yeah.
left stuff a lot of times
Yeah.
too, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
And you probably throw that away.
Oh, yeah.
See what I mean?
Some of it didn't smell too good.
Yeah. Okay. Lee Harvey Oswald artifacts, items related to Kennedy's assassination. Lee Harvey Oswald also have sold at auction. In October, an anonymous buyer from Texas paid $108,000 for Oswald's gold wedding band. It was purchased in Minsk before his April 1961 marriage. I can't pronounce his wife's name, so I'm not going to try. But her first name is Marina. I can pronounce that. She later said that on the morning of November 22nd, 1963, that Oswald left his ring next to the bed at the Irving, Texas home of a friend where she and her children were staying at the time. Okay, and following his arrest, the ring, which was engraved with a tiny hammer and a sickle, was confiscated by the Secret Service, and it later ended up in the files of Boris Marquardt, a Fort Worth attorney, where it remained for many years before being returned to Marina Oswald in 2012. Okay, also included in the purchase price of the ring was a 5-page handwritten note from Oswald's former wife saying that she didn't want to have Lee's ring in her possession because symbolically she wanted to let go of her past that was connecting her with that
How much
event.
that ring bring?
108,000.
Yes, 108 for
All
the
right,
ring.
with that, we got to check out of here, Ronnie. You have talked us plumb out of a show.
Wow, we didn't even make it through that one.
Oh.
Okay. All right, tune in next week.
Wish you'd look in the back door here.
Yeah, he
He's been out in the parking lot listening to us.
knows timing's everything.
Let's Talk Antiques resumes next Wednesday at 10 o'clock live on Thunder Radio
What's up, Geraldine?
107.9 FM and AM 1320.